welcome to Transformation Tuesday. Once again, wow, it's Transformation Tuesday for August 12th, 2025. Let's take a deep breath into the day, no matter where you are, what's going on, what condition is happening or not, and knowing that it's all happening for our unfoldment. And my name's Judy Matejcek, Life Mastery Consultant and award-winning paradigm shifter. So we come together every Tuesday since March of 2020. and our purpose is dedicated to shift and uplift the planet with some new ideas, or maybe they're not new ideas, maybe they're releasing old ideas. Yes, and getting back into our source. So for the month of August, we have been bringing to you the topic of new beginnings. Yeah, new beginnings. So I'm going to ask you, what new beginnings? Right at the level of fact, there's schools starting, there's traffic patterns that are different, at least where I am, where you don't speed through school zones anymore. And, it's like this whole, like, a fresh start. And after some pretty rugged things that have happened that are part of the past, but we're dedicated. I love this new teacher orientation stuff where we're all like, yeah. I was sitting under a tree where we have a meeting every day, and all these new teachers are coming out of this building just talking up a storm and everything. And I'm like, wow, look at that energy. Look at that preparedness for a brand new, never before lived start of the school year. So with that, this is perfect speaker for today. My buddy and TEDx speaker. I love it, Kaleem. I just listened to your talk again, and it is so perfect for what we're doing today. So Kaleem Joy is a transformational empowerment coach, a licensed midwife of 26 years experience. Whoa. And her mission is simply yet profound, to shine a light of awareness so you can see the path to growing your own transformational greatness. So Kaleem's story, and she's going to tell us a little bit about something that's come up. It's resilience, isn't it?
Definitely.
Yep. Overcoming a major physical trauma and transforming it into a journey of this healing, empowerment, and purpose. And I love how you guide others into knowing that they do have a purpose, and saying yes to their own transformation. So I would love to have you come in and tell us a little bit about yourself, what you're up to, and talk about, if you would, your profession, right? Your career has been midwife, right? Catching those new beginnings. And when we're talking, I'd love to have you talk about that little bit of resistance, a big resistance. I know when I had my kids, it was like right down to the last minute, and I'm like, wait a minute, I don't think I want to do this. And like pushing it through to the other side. So come on in here, and I'm so appreciative of the work that you do in the world.
Oh, Judy, thank you so much. And thank you for having this moment in time for this exploration of this topic. And, as a midwife, yes, I worked with people who are pregnant, right? And pregnancy, whether you're growing a baby or whether you're growing a life, a dream, a relationship, a job, whatever it is, we get pregnant with this. And in that time, there can be that resistance, right? The resistance of, I don't want morning sickness. Maybe I don't want to do this. And it's that hero's journey, the refusal of the call, and yet the pulling of us forward, right? And, as I work with these women, it's such an awareness to me of our lives and the journey with which we take, because we can either take it with a willingness or with a resistance. And you talked about that a few weeks ago. And that willingness is us wanting to embrace all the newness that we are coming into. And this new beginnings that you're focusing on right now is that when we're pregnant with a child, or whatever idea that we're pregnant with, it is a need to let go of the old, right? It's crossing over that threshold of the death and the rebirth that must happen, because the old life can no longer continue no matter what. And I will hear women say, I just can't wait until I can get my life back to normal. And I'm like, normal does not exist anymore. It just doesn't. There's a new baby on the way, regardless if it's a baby or life. And I love that this is such a segue into our lives, because there is either resistance and resistance to going forward, which when we are willing during the pregnancy of our dreams to embrace and keep walking forward in growing and learning who we are and transforming, the birth becomes something that we expand who we are into the life we are becoming. And I'm so grateful that I have this journey that I've been on, and that I've had the tools in order to branch into the transformation of the dark soul of the night that I went through this past year,
Oh,
right?
really?
Yeah. And, when I think about the road as a woman goes through labor, and she goes through that moment of transformation, that is, I must let go of the old life in order for me to embrace the new life. And I love when we bring that, let's take a breath here, because that's the first thing that a baby does, is take a breath into new life. They expand into it. And when we expand into that new life, it's now a discovery of how we live into that new life, right? So this past year, if it's okay to start into that, okay. So this past year, I had kind of bringing us up to speed with this is I was progressing in my work, and things were beginning to advance, and the TEDx talk was coming up, right? So I was blossoming into that speaker and feeling all the growth and expansion that was going on with that, in the midst of my wife having a diagnosis. And the TEDx talk happened, and she began chemo. And so we were walking through that journey in preparation for surgery. And the chemo ended, and we had 6 weeks before the surgery. And watching the life that was leading up to this. And one day, I took a step backwards. And when you take a step backwards, you don't realize just how powerful the transformation's going to be when you begin the journey forward. And what I did is I took a, say what?
That is so important. It's like, oh, I'm in it.
Yeah.
I'm in it. And then I think what you're saying is that pause,
Yeah.
stepping back and looking. For me, it's like, oh, looking from above.
Mm.
Like, uh-oh, are my actions helping or hurting? Or where's my life? Am I tied up with somebody else's? Yeah, keep going. Yeah, questions.
All of that you said, it's like the life flashed before my eyes at that moment, because I stepped backwards, and in a humorous note, I fell over my chicken's watering can.
You got chickens. Of course you got chickens. Yeah.
I used to have chickens. And at that moment in time, everything began to transform. Everything in my life, everything in who I am, was that moment of awareness because what I did was all of my body weight fell on my hand. And we went off to the ER to have a bone set and a cast put on. And all of that would be like, okay, you broke your arm and you have a cast on it. What's the big deal? Well, the cascade of events that happened was regional pain syndrome, which meant I felt tortured, tormented, traumatized, PTSD, and all of that. But that day when that happened, I came home because I had those tools. And I pulled out a piece of paper and I said, okay, I know this because my mind can either go down the path of the dark night or it can go forward and it can empower me beyond anything that I've ever done before if I will make that decision. And I began to write down what is all the good that can come from this. And I wrote down 23 things immediately, right?
I just question, the hand that you broke, was it your dominant hand or your non-dominant hand?
Non-dominant hand, thankfully.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. Keep going.
And then began the melting down of goo inside the cocoon into something that I had never been before, right? And it began literally 3 months of not sleeping. And my wife would say to me in the morning, how did you sleep? I would say, well, I slept like a baby. I woke up every 2 hours and cried, right? Because the pain was something I could not get away from. And it was begging, pleading, and crying and listening and looking for anything that could bring this relief while doing everything I could in my mind to hold the place of what would it be like when this is over and I will have transformed into something even better still. And yet it would call me back and call me back. And then there was a night when I was just begging and pleading. And I said, Infinite, what is the message here? And the message came quickly and it said, you are programming your neurosystem to trauma. And thank goodness I had the awareness that I knew what it was telling me, that I was doing the well-worn paths of programming things into it. And at that moment, compassion flowed over my beingness of people who had been to war, people who had had PTSD, injury, abuse, anything, and how without that awareness, they get stuck, right? They get stuck in the condition, the circumstance, the situation. And I vowed at that moment that I would help my body, my system, my neurosystem to keep focused on the potential of possibilities and keep going, even in the midst of condition, right? And so through the process, the cast came off 5 days after my wife's surgery. So I still couldn't open a can of cat food. I couldn't floss my teeth. I couldn't drive. I couldn't. And there we were working at improving our relationship through all of this, that it grew. What good could come out of it? Our relationship grew. What good could come out of it? I began the road to transforming in a way that nothing else would have helped me to have gone completely to my darkest night in order to come up and out with a firm decision, a clear burning decision that I would transform into a greater, fuller, freer version of who I am from walking through this. Then frozen shoulder. All right, we can do this. Elbow not working. Okay. Then it traveled up into my head and vertigo, and I could not walk. I could not drive. I could not be. And I thought, somewhere I we'll keep focused on what is the potential and possibility of the truth, because this is merely a circumstance, but the truth was what lied in all of this being that was then and this is now, right? And so I am still walking through bits and pieces of it, still going to therapy. But what I can share with anyone and everyone who views this is the reality that we must let go of the past and honor the authentic and truthfulness of who we truly are and walk our lives into the place where we come out of the cocoon and we fly as a beautiful butterfly, living into the greatness of who we truly are. And that is where I am today. Have I learned everything? Of course not, because we're ever growing and progressing, right, Judy? Do I have my moments? Yes, I still have my moments of, I want to do this. Do I have fear, doubt, worry that rises up in me? Yes. And I remind it, I hear you. We are here now. You are safe. You are well. In fact, you are expanding into a greater version of who you are. Breathe and let go and create what you want. Let go of what was in exchange for a new beginning in life. And that new beginning is within all of us. Every day, now, in the last 4 days, I'm finally sleeping laying down. I have been upright for months because of all different things. Laying down, I go to sleep. Can I? Is it okay? Will I? And I visualize I am sleeping well. And when I wake in the morning, I am grateful. And I wake up and I sit up out of bed and I say, today is a new baby day, right? Today is a day that I get to live into my full potential and be a light. And every day I am grateful for what that light gets to do and shine. And today it's to be here with you.
Amen. Wow, what a beautiful story, and of being on that green growing edge of your next becoming and your next becoming. And is I'm like so curious to ask people, when everything is going great and good, your vision's there, you got it all out there. There's that point of power where I think Gay Hendricks talks about that upper limits, the upper limits, and and that coming back down in and everything from the past, right, wants to come back and pull down. And actually, I feel somewhat that that's addiction for me because that's familiar.
Mm.
And there's this part, I was talking to a client this morning about um, where she was saying, well, everyone feels this and that is going on out in the world. And I had to stop her. I'm like, when you hear yourself saying, well, everyone, that's pretty much not true. I can give like examples of where not everyone thinks like that. And then like, oh, that's I want to feel part of what everyone is going through, so I'm going to stay there. And up until, we say this up until now, but there's only a part of you that's feeling like that. It's like, come on, this is what do you want to call it? Common hour thinking would have me be, say, victim, right? We hadn't talked about that either, that victim of life. That's that's for me many times very real, especially in the last week, but wait a minute, oh, I'm teaching this stuff. And like that, no, what? And I journal every morning. What am I learning about myself? And inevitably, for me, I really enjoy being a victim. I don't have to make any changes to me. So anyway, I don't know where that's going to, but this whole new beginning is a choice. You don't have to. You can stay stuck. That's okay. That's your okay. Or it takes courage to heal. It takes courage to heal. Not just physically, emotionally, and spiritually. So come on in here. You went like, oh yeah, that victim thing. So come on in here. And any examples you have, possibly, you've delivered.
Oh, we had a freeze. Come on back. Come on back. Come on back. Judy, you froze. Are you back? There we go.
I'm back.
We frozen or you frozen? I don't know which, but it was apropos to be frozen and stuck, right? We're going to use that for a minute. So victim, oh my goodness, yes, because throughout this process, the victimhood was so vocal. And there was a moment in time when I said, oh, I was acting as a victim and I was unaware I was doing it. Oh my goodness. Well, that can't be. So then it began my awareness of feeling like I was a victim to what was going on, right? And how much it began to say, do you want to be the victim of this? Or do you want to be the confident, empowered, I'm in charge of what's going on? It's not doing it to me. This is for me, right?
Right.
Yeah. Because in life, that happens so much. Why is this happening? I must have deserved this. And one of the most beautiful gifts that was given to me by one of our wonderful mentors is she said, learn to love who you are. And I thought, wow, that was so powerful. And when we're in victim mode, we're not loving who we are. And when we come out of that and we say, I am loving who I am, and I will embrace all things that help to love who I am, because the more I love who I am, the more love I can give.
Oh, beautiful. So that is so beautiful. So I would like a question I ask everyone is that, um, you're traveling down the road or wherever you are, and there's a billboard with your name on it, right? And what is the message like that you would love to, even like a sentence, a word, but your shining light, your physical shining light, your smile, your energy. I love one of the things on my wall is I am responsible for the energy I put out in this day or in this home, in this situation. I'm responsible for that. What would you love to have that billboard say?
There is a shining light within each of us that is there to grow the seeds of greatness, where we then can shine a light that impacts the world to love more. That's what I would.
Let's take some energy. Let's take some energy into that right now. Everyone around the world, live or will listen to this, know that this is so.
Mm.
We're going to go like this, and I would love to have you say that again and put the energy out there.
There is a shining light within each of us that is growing the seeds of greatness so that we can shine our light and positively impact the world.
So it is.
Good.
Thank you so much. Thank you so
Mm,
much for everything that you give and have given and will give into all these generations to come.
Thank you, Judy. I am so grateful for you, for your heart, for your beautiful light that shines to all of us and brings us such messages each week that help our souls and our lives to expand and live with greater joy. Thank you so much.
Yes. Go out and make it a great Transformation Tuesday. I love it.